The thing I'm thinking about is, yeah, I think if we are unable to do policy changes today
Hmm.
to support humanity, how is privatizing these technologies going to do that for us?
It's not.
It's not. We're getting sold that, right?
Hello, this is Hello Roboto. I am your host, Phil. Along with me is the other host, Tim, my brother, who is more
Nice.
of a developer than me. We're here to talk about AI and technology. Um, and today we're going to be talking about of course, Neo robot that everyone is talking about, which I think is from X1 or 1X. I can't remember what the company's called.
Yeah.
Um, but the Neo robot that is very humanoid, very soft and delicate, that launched with a 10-minute, close to 10-minute promo, that at any moment I expected to turn into an apocalyptic dystopian nightmare trailer for a new movie. And it never did. So I guess we're just going to do it in real time, IRL. Um, yeah, what were your thoughts on that? I think I've already expressed mine pretty dystopian, apocalyptic is what I would have as the first thoughts. What about you?
Yeah. Um, well, first, I think it's really cool. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched some YouTubes of people talking about it already, and they reference the Jetsons. I grew up with the Jetsons as well. And,
Yeah.
um, yeah, yeah, I think it's a cool technology. I do think it's early.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I think there's a lot of potential. I guess I'm trying to figure out like how do I form this because in my head that's how it feels. Is like there's a lot of potential. There's some really interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess we can just kind of dive into like what we both individually think. I think for me, it's like the AI is essentially it's in its infancy right now.
Right.
It will grow as there's more input, as time, as as a team over at 1X has time to actually
Mm-hmm.
engineer this stuff. When it comes to like programming, so I assume it's a kind of like Tesla. There's probably that connection. They can just upload new firmware and new software updates as they get them approved, and Neo can actually do dishwashing and stuff like that. It's I have a problem with the form factor, but we can get to that later, I guess.
Okay. Um, yeah, I think I told you, I texted you, I think my stomach was turning or my stomach dropped. This is the first time I got scared of a technology. I'm like er, I consider myself an early adopter. I mean, I've usually like tried every technology when it's come out. I've been, I was there with dial up. I think dad got us a computer, got the IBM when I was like 8 or something like that.
hmm
So I'm used to like new technology and getting excited about new technology. It's just kind of, and you know me, I will like spend money on new technology versus like anything else. This is
Right.
vacations. I'll get new technology, but um, I saw this and my stomach. I was like, oh my god, this is so frightening to me, and I don't know why. I don't know what the. It was a visceral reaction where I was honestly scared. Um, and I don't know 100% what it is. I think as I kept watching it, it just seemed so. I don't know, like the uncanny valley type of stuff going on there with his movements, and it didn't seem to make sense. Uncanny valley is where the human brain will look at something that is human-like, but it's not human-like enough for us to accept it as like our own. And the theory is that we did that with like other tribes, like Neanderthals and stuff like that, so that way we can distinguish different um groups from our own. I don't know if that's true theory or not. But it's so I was looking at just the movement seemed like is very weird to me, and I was uh I don't know, I kept questioning how they were doing, how it was doing what it was doing, and knowing how to do that, because it seemed light years ahead of something like ChatGPT and the stuff that we've seen with even like those weird dog machine things that like have machine guns on them or whatever, and they get pushed around and stuff. It seemed like light years from that. And then it turned out to be like mostly human controlled in the background. I watched the Wall Street Journal take on it, and it was like 100% human controlled. Some guy with a Oculus or something.
Yeah. In a different room, right?
In a different room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think I knew why it was like so weird to me. I think it was just reaffirming this idea of, I don't know, not like just like servitude, like human beings need servitude in order to function in society. In order to be like to be up here, you need servants, when really it's like we need more free time and we need more leisure rather than working like 10-hour days. When it's just like, oh, you don't have time or the energy to do things at home, here's a robot assistant so you can do more work, is what I kept imagining. I was like, so you can do more work to pay bills for your $600 a month robot or whatever it is, $20,000 flat fee robot.
If you want to own it, $20,000.
Yeah. And so I think it was something like that, where it was just like, oh, we're uh, like you watch those old shows for England or like early America, the Gilded Age stuff, kind of, and it's just like all a bunch of servants, and then they're like robots. They're coming to town to be the new servants. Um, I don't want, and I know like it's just a robot and it's not conscious and sentient. But it felt strange, and then it felt more strange when I found out that a human was controlling it. That did feel like 100%. I immediately imagined prisoners in a small cube in a small cubicle. Controlling these robots from afar because they never got the technology to actually work. And that's what I imagine. Making like 6 cents a day or whatever.
Yeah.
I
never thought of that. That's scary. Yeah. Yeah. I mean hopefully that's not true. Gosh, that's a whole other discussion, I guess.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, like prisoners are still like the only class of citizen that can be like put into slavery,
right,
in the States at this moment. But so that's immediately what I thought about. And I thought about like the drone strikes for armies and stuff like that. Like, okay, well then you have, citizens sign up for the armies and they'll control stuff like this from abroad, from like a naval ship offshore.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. I mean, we already do that with drones, right?
Yeah, exactly. But now let's think about like manned things. I don't know, and it became very dystopian for me, just like a very strange idea to me.
Yeah, it is dystopian in a way. If you, with the conversation aside, with the prisoners, the conversation we can. I have to think on that because that's actually a really scary idea. But assuming this is going to essentially become an autonomous form, humanoid, not even human at all, just a robot. Yeah, I think there are people connecting what's happening right now with things from the past, with you have these servants, you have these people who are managing your house for you while you go and work and stuff. In the case of, somewhat not too distant history in America was, slavery. And I think the difference with that is, the robots or the company who owns the robots, they're actually getting paid. Yeah, it's
Well, the
I don't
the
know.
companies
There's
that
a
owned
lot
the
to think
slaves
about
got
with that
paid.
morality. You like to
The
talk.
companies that owned the
You think
slaves
about
got paid.
morality
I mean,
stuff.
that's
It's really interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The robots aren't getting paid. And the companies got paid, and the slave owners got
Mm.
paid, not the slaves.
Mm.
And I'm not saying it's a one for one because obviously slaves are human beings.
Right, right.
Um,
That's why I'm like, there's a disconnect for me. That's why I'm
and
like,
yeah,
there's.
it's a
I've
huge
I've heard this
disconnect,
argument
but it's
before or currently. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay, but these robots don't have feelings. These robots aren't human.
yeah.
These
No,
robots are
I'm
machine.
if they
There's a
all
disconnect
if
for
they
me. Yeah.
yeah, if the technology came along and they can update the firmware or whatever or train it to do the things it's supposed to do, and humans get out of the picture and it's just the robot doing basic functions based on memory and things,
Mm.
that's fine, whatever. I mean, that would be great. But the thing is, like these promises are made over and over again with automated whatever, and they never live up to the hype because it takes time and it takes money and the way our society operates is like we don't think past a week when it comes to like the stock market. Like we don't think like long term. It's short term gains, short term movement. It's not long term stuff, and it's just like making sure the stocks hike up. That's why Elon will promise like, oh, we'll have automated cars and by the year 2022. And and it never comes. And he just like makes announcements every year about stuff that's supposed to come and it just spikes up the stock
Mm.
market. That's why we've got like OpenAI making certain promises and then trading $100 billion between Nvidia and Oracle. That's why we've got like all this stuff like kind of happening. And so this company I see making this promise to like train these bots based on the information it gathers, through these videos. But then it never actually coming to full fruition, and it's not going to be. They're still going to need humans to operate them, but they're not going to be costly humans because that's going to cut into their budget. I'm assuming this company is going to go public if it isn't already. It's got investors. It's going to want to go public,
Right.
and once you go public, you are by law have to take care of your shareholders, which means you have to pay through the cheapest labor you can, which means that the AI is not working. You get human beings to remote control it. Who's the cheapest labor? That's prisoners. That's where my brain logically goes with the whole thing. And
Yeah.
that's where it gets super creepy because then it's still the thing hinges still on the need for the top 10%, whatever it is, to have servants because they work so hard doing whatever, that they can't take care of their house and the basic stuff. So they can come home and not have to like fold laundry or load the dishes or whatever it is.
Hmm.
Um, and I get the need for like wanting like my house is a mess right now and I work from home, but it's also I don't know, it just feels so different to have that kind of like on demand servitude or the need for on demand servitude and the technology not there yet. So obviously human beings have to fill the gap. Um,
I have a fly. Sorry.
it's okay. So yeah, so that's I think that's where my trepidation comes in, and then if it's AI, if it's never the thing is like the only way that it can make to me it makes logical sense that that comes to be workable along with every other AI promise is that it's like self-improving, meaning it can make updates on its own or it can learn on its own. And if that's the case, then you get close to consciousness and sentience. And then if that's the case, then you got robots as slaves, because then you have to put in like all these coded measures to stop them from doing the things they want to do. And that seems weird. But we already do that to ourselves. So I don't know. I don't know. It
Yeah.
just becomes a mess. It's just a complicated, weird mess. Because we don't take care. And I know I'm running on. I'll let you talk. But the thing is, like, we don't take care of our own human neighbors, and like and respect them as human beings. So then when an alien intelligence or possible alien intelligence comes along, that's not going to happen. You know, we have, if you've ever seen Blackfish with orcas, whales and dolphins have this alien intelligence. We don't respect them or their habitat. So it just becomes this weird thing where I'm like, okay, well, we're just gonna have this new thing come along, and no matter how you cut it, at the once you start chasing the bottom dollar, it just ethically it goes askew. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. I see your perspective on this. It's really interesting. Because yeah, you're right. If the AI, so these, let's just say, yeah, these pre-orders go through
Uh-huh.
and they ship out the first robot, like they think they're going to this by the end of this year. I'm pretty sure that's what the
Yeah,
date said, right? It was 2020,
I think
2025,
so.
or was it fall
Uh,
2026?
it's 2026, but they didn't have it. They didn't even have
Okay.
like a quarter or a month or anything, season or
Okay,
anything. I
they
think
just
it's
said
just
sometime next
2026.
year. Okay, let's say they have a full year to get some basic things done.
Uh-huh.
Um, it can open doors. It can grab a coffee cup. Those are two things that we know that it can actually do autonomously at this point. Let's say it can do basic dishwasher, uh, putting dishes in the dishwasher and then possibly taking them out.
Mhm.
Um, I don't see them doing a full putting the dishes into the cabinet thing yet. You know, it's based on what we saw. Uh, but let's say it gets to a point of having maybe 4 or 5 core things it can do. It's
Mhm.
not going to be worth the money for that technology, in my opinion, for those chores.
Mhm.
Um, so you're right. I think people are going to want more quickly, which means they'll have to have a support team. So once they cap out of what they can do, these remote workers will then use an Oculus, put their
Uh-huh.
eyewear on, and then use their controls to then visually see inside someone's house to do the chore, right? Isn't that how that works?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a whole privacy the conversation. But yeah, people are talking it's going to be outsourced to, I forget what country. They're I think they have a remote office. I could be totally wrong. Could be just become totally a lie on X. But I was reading an X thread.
Uh-huh.
I thought I saw someone say it was they're opening up an office in Pakistan or India or something,
Mm.
and um, they're outsourcing to probably a big office of you know cheaper labor than you can get here in the United States,
Yeah.
and ethically, what does that look like? But then you're bringing up the whole what about prisoners? And I'm like, yeah, I can see if someone's having a pushback and saying, I only want someone in the United States remote controlling my robot because there's, for some reason, there's more
Mhm.
of a trust factor there potentially. Yeah, you're not going to pay someone, you know, 50, $60,000 a year to control one robot or
Yeah.
be on demand. Yeah, it's a really interesting thought experiment. Because then
Yeah,
yeah, you're
it's
not getting is you're the disconnect that I have for that robot and then historical humanity is no longer there. Now you're getting into the gray areas of like if this is true, what does that look like? And it's no longer robots, it is human, you know.
yeah.
How humane are we being to the actual workers remote controlling this robot? It's yeah, that's really bizarre.
Yeah.
Um,
I
hmm.
mean,
You
yeah. I
bring
mean,
up really good points. Yeah.
thanks. But it's they're all scary points. My brain just works at where I just go to like the worst possible conclusion. I mean, the ideal scenario is they can train it, but this is the thing. It would have to be a company that's like geared towards humanitarianism and not necessarily shareholders and the most profit. Again, we don't have a society, we don't have policies set up for that. But the ideal would be, I think everyone would want this, would be like, ideal would be like these robots, yeah, they can go into like certain homes in the top 10 to 1%, whatever it is, but then
Mhm.
also be affordable enough and then do the things without the remote workers, like to actually do AI stuff. So that way they can go into like elder care, they go into places with disability, any kind of assistant needs where that would be, nurses can also be there, but then like the day-to-day assistant needs would be taken care of. And it would also like provide companionship, I think, for the elderly. Uh, but again, that's like the $20,000 is no one can afford that. Disability caps somebody's savings. If they go above like 3 grand in their savings account, they get kicked off of disability. You know, we're set up to like hurt people,
We're
and
set up
so
for like the 1920s. Like
well, no,
three
I
grand
think
back
I
then
think
was a lot. Now it's
no,
like
it's
it's
not even
not even
that.
a
It's a
rent payment.
moral. It's a moral issue. It's people who believe that human beings are inherently lazy and will take advantage of a system, and so these disability people on disability can actually work, and they're actually lazy and they're taking advantage of it, and they're not just like trying to live their lives like a normal human being. That's what happens. Like that's the argument that you see, and it gets like wrapped in these weird things and stuff. And you'll see people are like, oh, the system's bloated. Oh, there's a bunch of scams and there's what's it called? And people stealing money or fraud. There's fraud going on. Oh, there's this and that. And sure, yeah, people take advantage of it. But I think if anything's taught you about humans, especially over lockdown, is that we get stir crazy and we have to do stuff. People want to do stuff. We don't want to just like sit around on our butts and not provide to society. It's not how we're built. That's not how we got to this point. Where tribes did not just sit around on their butts all day. We're just, but that's what it is. Like they just assume these people are like taking advantage of they're being lazy. They don't have to walk or do whatever, and then they get like some money and they're like, oh, they're spending it all on Twinkies and the rent's free and blah blah blah, and then they're like, yeah, but they don't understand these people like live in poverty. They're living like paycheck to paycheck, barely paycheck to paycheck, if that.
Yeah, probably
um
a lot of negative months,
yeah,
and
so
then catching up, and they're like, okay, I'm caught up, and then another negative months
yeah,
come, you know.
so I can only imagine if like these bots go to like people in need in some way, that there would be an uproar from a group of people be like, oh, these people they're already getting handouts from the government, and now they're getting like physical assistance from these robots. If that was the case, it's not going to be the case because this tech company is trying to make money. They're not going to be like buy a robot, give a robot. It's not going to be Tom's or whatever or Bombas at this point.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That, I mean, that's what the capitalistic endeavor is growth. Infinite growth. What does that look like? Um, and it's not. I forget. I remember reading something about how adoption happens with technology. It's
Mm-hmm.
different stages. It's the um I'm not going to remember the names, but essentially it's like the risk taker. It's the person who's going to be like, "Hey, I want to do this first because
Mm-hmm.
I want to be at the very beginning of this. This is really cool. I want to be
Yeah.
attached to V1 of this or whatever."
Uh-huh.
And then you have the initial followers of like, "Okay, that person took the leap. Looks like it's working out. I'll try it." And then I think the third stage is more mass. It's like, oh, okay,
Uh-huh.
that second level, I know they do their due diligence and they follow this other person or these other people who essentially make the first steps and they're working it's working for them, so we'll take the leap, and it's more of like the bigger group. Then
Yeah.
after that, it's all follow on. Um, yeah, but your point is like disability people with disabilities or people like where it can actually help somebody. It's not just the higher upper class people who can afford the $20,000 today to purchase this outright.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, not to say that they don't need assistance. I don't know someone's life, but
Yeah.
it's the early adopters like that is like, oh, that'd be cool to have in my house. I'm gonna try it out. And yeah, someone can just do all these chores for me while I go and, work on this XYZ company that's more beneficial. I forget
Mm-hmm.
I was watching an interview about this, specifically this technology, this robot. And like the people who are able to afford the extra $500 a month are they value their time is valued higher than $500
Yeah.
a month for these chores. So this
Mm-hmm.
robot might be only working 4 hours a week or 8 hours a week doing chores here and there. They value that 8 hours more than at least more than $500 um,
Yeah.
at time. Um,
He.
and a lot of people don't think that way. They think of paycheck to paycheck. What can I make today?
Well,
Um,
they have to.
they have to. Exactly. It's not because they don't want to. It's because they have to.
Mm-hmm.
Where these other people are like, my time is this much. It's valued this much. Like I don't have time for this. I'd rather
Yeah.
hire this out. We all do that. It's look at
Right.
mechanics and stuff, right? Like it's cheaper for you to take your car to a mechanic
Oh yeah.
than learn to be a mechanic and do it yourself and take that time and take a weekend to build it, whatever it is. And it might take them an hour. So I don't know. Yeah, there's.
I mean, I get it. That is. I mean, that's why it is so expensive, and that's why. I mean, the cutting edge technology goes to the upper to those
Right.
who can afford it first. Um, and I totally get that the need to like it's the idea of like uh it's better for like it's not worth Bill Gates' time to bend down to pick up a dollar he found on the street or something like that. That's
Mhm.
because he makes more than that in a second. Um, I get that. I do, and I understand the appeal for that kind of robot for or something like that. But again, it goes back into the framework of like capitalism and bottom dollar and unlimited growth, where it's like, okay, well now I have this free time, so I can go ahead and hustle or grind or whatever it is to make more money for whatever reason that I need to do it. Um,
Right. So you're thinking
so
of it's there for more hustle and grind instead of freeing up for more leisurely activities or extracurriculars.
I
Right.
think it's going to be for both. I think it's going to be for both.
Mm.
Ultimately, I think it's going to be a symbol more than anything else. I think it's going to be
I think it's going to be a
um,
status symbol for
a
sure.
status symbol, especially starting out. And honestly, that's going to how it's going to hit a tipping point for the masses. If it looks cool, if it's going to be cool, people are going to get envious of it. I think Tesla's adoption is that case. He as much as I crap on Musk in these videos so far, it's only been two, but but as much as I do, he makes things look cool and sound cool, and people get envious and be like, oh, I need to get this
Hmm.
car, I need to do this, and so it becomes this need to have something for having a sake. It's the same with Apple. I mean, I'm into the Apple ecosystem, and I got into it because I thought it was cool, and like I went to college and I bought my first iMac, the big blue one, and it was because it was cool. It was cooler than the other computer.
I
Um,
remember. Yeah.
yeah, and so I mean, so that's what technology. It's got to be useful and stuff like that, but it has to have this. The thing with human beings are we're irrational to a point. We're rational, but there's also like this thing in our brain that we love novelty, and we also love having status. We love that, and so we have this envy to other people. So we want to go out, we want to buy these things and hold them and have them. And there's also this weird psychological need that maybe if we get this thing, it'll make us happy for a brief second or whatever. So all of that kind of mixes in with like products and marketing and stuff like that. And so this, I mean, if you watch that, when you watch that video, I mean, I was watching and I was like, oh, I wonder if the same people who made the Apple videos, like the Apple announcement videos, made this because every single one looked like it. Every
Mhm.
shot was just like an Apple video.
I mean, the product
So
looked like an Apple product too.
it did, yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're
Mhm.
definitely leaning into that Apple cool factor and like think different and be different and
Yeah.
um, hey, you're gonna have a robot serve it, and they're playing into nostalgia with the Jetsons and Rosie. So it's definitely not targeted towards Gen Z or Gen Alpha. It's like millennials and up because who else remembers the Jetsons? Nobody. Um,
For a
so
brief time, I thought I made that show up. Like I did. I did. I had like I was driving somewhere. I started thinking about the
yeah,
Jets. I was like, did I make this up in my head?
I make it
I
up.
had to like Google it when I got to the hotel eventually. I think I was driving to Colorado.
Yeah,
Like, I'm like, did I make this show up?
that's fair. It happens. Um, but yeah, I don't, the thing is, like, you think of the Jetsons, you think of Rosie. She was a completely sentient being, and but she was made to be a maid. And
Mhm.
then I think she did get married at some point, but she got married to a guy who was like the super of the apartment building. And so he did manual labor fixing the apartment stuff. And so this maid fell in love with the super. And I don't know. It was just super weird.
I
And
don't
like
remember the
there was no
storyline.
class movement for them. They couldn't, I don't think they ever had an apartment. Um, just weird stuff. Uh I don't know. I'm The thing is, like, and then people, I'm sure people have already been like, dude, it's not that deep, and I understand it. I tend to overthink these things. It's just who I am.
I don't
But
think you're wrong though. I don't think you're
but
not wrong to think
I
that.
think it's
I
it's worth
think
considering.
it's worth considering because yeah, if if we were so concerned about abolishing any form of slavery in this country, we wouldn't
Hmm.
have that specific clause.
I think it's the 13th Amendment. Yeah.
Yeah, in the 13th Amendment, or I don't know what amendment. Yeah, you're probably right. It's like yeah, no slavery except for in cases of imprisonment or something. If we go to how
Hmm.
it's stated, if we were so concerned, we wouldn't have that clause in there.
Yeah.
Like that's the conscience of this country, and that's why I'm saying I don't think you're wrong to think about this because there are prisoners who are firefighting or might be currently
Yeah.
I don't know what big fires are happening right now, but I know in the past few years they would be flown out to California, Colorado,
Hmm.
and these big fires, and they were more or less glorified volunteers, and they were
Yeah.
prisoners, and they're paid,
I
you know, $2, $3 an hour, putting out and risking their lives for these communities. You know,
hmm
how harsh were their their penalties to get into prison? I don't know, but also like other countries, once you serve your time, you have regained your citizenship. You have served what are their the collective known as the country or the citizens have determined that
hmm
that what you have done bad, you've served that time, you are now reset and back into
Yep.
society. There's no
Hmm.
you can't vote, you can't do this because you have this it's like so this whole thing, that's what I'm saying, is a huge discussion around this because I don't
Yeah.
think you're wrong to think about this because if we were so concerned about this, we wouldn't have,
Hmm.
prisoners doing these slave labors,
Yeah.
I think some states still have like chain gangs or something. Like
Probably.
I think so. They're like still like working in farms or digging ditches or something. They're all chained up
Oh
or
yeah.
something. I remember seeing something on this.
I've heard, and I don't know, I never knew this before, and I can't remember where I saw it, but there's apparently a program where prisoners get loaned out to like Taco Bell and McDonald's to work as cashiers.
Really?
Yeah, it's really insane.
But like
So if you
that's the thing.
so
You've taken their time, you're taking their existence
yeah,
in this industrial complex of was it the prison industrial complex? I forget what how it's phrased, but
I think the prison industrial complex.
yeah, I mean, but yeah, like who's making the money? Who's profiting off of this?
private
Like we
private
know it's not
prisons,
charitable work. It's private.
private
Yeah,
prisons, shareholders. There's companies. I mean, I
there's
think
company. There's two or
there's
three. Yeah,
yeah, there's companies that this is their thing, and they're public companies, and they're
yeah.
traded on the
Hmm.
stocks, which means rehabilitation prisoners. That's not the focus. The focus is the shareholders. Again, we don't have the policy set up for that. We think of them as like individuals' decisions and like CEO decisions and stuff like that. But you put a policy in place, and all of a sudden, people don't have to worry about it. Like think about think about when you go to like a grocery store or go to a restaurant and you're like, well, that's policy, sir. My hands are tied. That's what it is. You built this policy, you put it in place, and then all of a sudden everyone is absolved of it. And you don't have, I'm just following orders, that kind of thing. And I know, again, it's not that deep, but it is that deep. But it's all just wrapped up in there. And the thing is that I didn't think about this before, but like if you have these bots in these robots doing that, and if you do have remote controlled prisoners or low paid workers or whatever, then all of a sudden it's removed from us. We don't have to see it, and then all of a sudden it becomes like something we don't think about. Like we just look at a robot and we go, "Oh, robot," but we don't think of a human being, 100 miles away controlling it.
Yeah.
It's hidden.
Yeah.
Which is always the most deceptive thing. I mean, it's deceptive, obviously, but I mean, it's the most, I guess, clever thing to do is just to hide these weird instances of like slavery or whatever. And then, again, I mean, if it goes to AI, then I was watching the Wall Street Journal right before this, and it was them looking at the Neo stuff, and he's talking to I think the CEO of it, and he was like, there's Big Brother and Big Sister, and Big Brother is like watchful, just like watching people and stuff like that. And Big Sister is helpful. We're more Big Sister. And I'm just like, I don't want Big Sister. I don't want Big Brother. I don't want Big Sister. I don't want anyone watching inside my house. I don't want them watching me walk down the street. I don't want people watching me go grocery shopping. I don't want anybody watching me doing stuff. Um, and it just becomes this weird attitude. I don't know. I think it's not a big jump from Big Sister to Big Brother. That's the thing. So now you've got bots who can do whatever and watch everything. And it's all under the guise of like, the bot is learning. So let's just get as much information as we can.
Yeah. But that's how machine learning works, right? It's continual.
I,
That's there's uh the current state of machine learning, current state of AI is we're almost tapped out of human knowledge. Like some of these models are almost to the point of collecting all of written human knowledge.
oh, you back? Okay.
Yeah, my internet dropped again.
Oh,
The
you're going to have to repeat all that. I don't know what you
sponsor
said.
sponsored by. Yeah. Where was I? What was I talking about? That caught me off guard. Um,
I don't know. You literally just started
oh,
talking. I lost you on my end.
so I was talking about the infinite knowledge. So what you're talking about, like how the robot needs to observe to learn and continuously
Mm-hmm.
learn. I was making a point of my understanding is with our current data models that these you know OpenAI has trained, and a few of the other big ones have, like Anthropic. We've gotten to the point that we are reaching the known written knowledge of humanity in these models.
Mm,
Like
mm,
we're almost we've almost retained uh, as much as we know in these models.
mm.
They anticipate these models uh, capping out soon.
Yeah.
So um, yeah, it's in order for these models to continue to learn, it's learning through these chats, learning through interactions, learning through processes. And in this case, a robot observing, understanding the human element in the home. What are the needs of the human? Oh, I
Yeah.
should probably do this. I should probably do this. Um, I don't know. I find it really interesting.
Yeah.
I I love the idea of tech and
Hmm.
the progression of tech. I think
Yeah.
and it's something we kind of talked about in the previous episode was what are, how is current policies.
Spooky.
I don't know why that opened. I'll be right back.
Okay.
That was bizarre. Anyways,
Hmm.
um, so, uh, wow, a lot of distractions. Sorry. Um,
Yeah. Technology growth. That's what you were talking about.
yeah, so I really like the growth of technology. I mean, that's my career.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I have been getting into a lot more moral stances of things. So in your case, you've expanded it all the way back to like, what does that look like for humanity and
Hmm.
workers and prison workers and things like that. And I'm looking at it as almost even a community level, and just looking at it kind of outside my door of like, okay,
Hmm.
we have we have this community of individuals, and
Yeah.
some of the latest news on Amazon is they've released 30,000 middle management workers because they don't need, or they're
Yeah.
restructuring. But a lot of the theory is around they're implementing some AI
Yeah.
to do some of these decisions, so they don't need as many people anymore. That's 30,000 people, and that's, in the mass population of this country. It's not a, or it could just be the global population, but that's a lot, but it's not a lot.
Hmm.
But as we build these robots and evolve these robots and technology, these warehouses, there's a lot of communities have warehouses pretty centralized, you know, in the area for distribution. Like,
Hmm.
what does that look like for all those jobs in this community? They can be taken away tomorrow and
Yeah.
replaced with this robot. It's not
Hmm.
just, hey, but that's the thing, you're looking at it, and it's like, oh, this is always going to be a in home
Yeah.
household robot. It's like, no, they're probably training it, to your point, to become warehouse workers or
Hmm.
factory workers. Because if they can train it to do these basic items at home,
Hmm.
what's going to stop them from upgrading them a little bit? And then they can, go and process packages.
Yeah.
And that means they don't have, these companies don't have to hire people in the community anymore.
Yeah. Hmm.
I see that as a long term, because also these individual robots can be deployed to the moon. We want to put uh, uh, a, uh, a colony on the moon. That's one of the big endeavors in the next 10 years. And having autonomous robots doing chores like
Hmm.
building infrastructure is going to be pretty big. Not many people would want to go to Mars or the moon to do this, but there are a lot of
Hmm.
people who are totally willing to do it for probably a significant paycheck. And it's a lot cheaper to do with a robot.
Yeah.
So, um, I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to consider just from this little video that we watched.
Well, yeah, I think it's just because it's the first real it's one of the biggest leaps technology wise, and it's starting domestically. It's starting within the home, and so I think it's
Mhm.
for a lot of us, and a lot of us, especially those who are in the tech, probably in the sci-fi, and we watched a lot of sci-fi or read a lot of sci-fi, and we're just like, this is not good stuff. This is the beginning of a horror movie.
Mhm.
um which I don't know how realistic that is or how not. It's just something that came up, but I see the concern with them replacing the jobs. I mean, that's been the. I mean, I think it's the goal of everybody who owns a company. Their dream is to have AI doing everything, so you don't have to pay workers, and so they just have to like pocket all the extra salary and hourly rates. Um, and that'd be cool. I mean, we get people. People who get frustrated when they're like, let's increase the minimum wage. And they're like, well, that's how we get those kiosks at McDonald's and you have to order the whatever. And it's like, no, that was coming no matter what. That's, they're using the excuse that, oh, you want us to pay more. So we're just going to go ahead and put more. It's like,
Right.
no, that was coming no matter what. They don't care. They want to do cheaper stuff. Um, yeah. So I mean, yeah, I see this, yeah, coming in the homes and then the factories. But yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe like it coming in the homes, and then I'm not going to say like there's a grand conspiracy or anything, but it's just like if it's in the homes and it's in wealthy people's homes, and it's got to be safe, right? And so if it's safe there, safe everywhere, and so it just becomes easier to adopt in every situation, in every part of society.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just strange stuff. Strange stuff.
It's strange because how do you correlate that with, again, we talked about last episode of current policies,
Mhm.
but also kind of the state of where society is. Like you have the wealthy. It's not even just ultra wealthy, just people who are you know a millionaire. Let's just say that a few
Mhm.
million, and they can
Yeah.
afford something like this.
Yeah.
Are they affected by food prices going up 10%? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Um, are they affected when rent goes up 10%? Probably not. Are they
Yeah.
owning their house? Maybe. Like these are the current economics that we're dealing with in normal society. And I say
Mhm.
normal society, people who are making, normal salary, let's say sub 100,000
Yeah.
a year, right? And getting to the point of having to live paycheck to paycheck at that salary.
Mhm.
Um, and then something like this comes out like, hey, here's a robot that do your dishes. And we're like, okay, like, why don't we work on affordable housing, or why don't we work on affordable utilities, or why don't we work on, the food shortage and food crisis and SNAP
Yeah.
benefits for people who can't afford things, and like, um, why can't we put our capital to use for, you know, uh, our current health issues, people going into debt or bankrupting because they got a broken arm, it's like,
Mhm.
I love it, and it's getting to the dystopian mentality, and I see where you're coming from on this and I appreciate you bringing this stuff up because it is, I get so locked in on technology and get really excited about it. but actually sitting down and thinking about it and being like, there is such a disconnect with society because the
Hmm.
majority of society is struggling to
Yeah.
make ends meet while these technologies are showing up in life and like
Well, yeah.
there there's such a disconnect. It's really
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, it's the Baron robbers and Gilded Age and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we've got a ballroom being built at the White House for 230 million, 300 million, whatever it is.
Mhm,
We've got a ton of money going to what is it, Argentina?
mhm.
100 billion shuffling around three different companies, which is just growing their portfolios beyond what anyone thought.
That's the stuff we
And
see. That's the
yeah,
stuff we
that's the
know
stuff we
about.
see. And now we got this robot. But I mean, it's all just like, to your point, it's just all this huge disconnect for everybody. Like it's
Yeah.
it's just insane. It is cool to see the technology, but it's also just like, okay, 20,000s for like what? That's I don't know. It does feel it's not something that I want, and it's not something that I put any value in that robot. But it is something like the kind of money that and the casualness of like how it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be like cool and whatever. It does feel insulting to people making like working class people. It does feel like it's insulting to middle class and working class people. Um, and I know it's like you can control it's like it's your feelings, it's how you react to stuff and blah blah blah. But it's also just like, okay, cool. Why aren't we thinking about this or that? And again, it's one company doing their own thing, but there's also a lot of other companies doing their own thing. And then it's like, okay, companies can't help us, and now the government's not really doing much for us. I mean, we're in lockdown. SNAP benefits are coming to an end November 1st. Um, uh, it just it's just insult. The whole thing is insulting and cool, I guess. Yeah, the technology is cool. So you're either going to go like the technology is not going to work, and you're going to have humans doing it for cheap, either through slavery or like working class, like low income people, or it's going to work. And you know, I doubt it's going to like come down to it's not going to if it comes down to our level, it's going to be taking our jobs. It's not going to be like in my house helping me. Uh, maybe
Right.
maybe we'll all get assigned one, and to keep us from all going insane, and it'll just like occasionally run out to the drugstore to pick up some pills to keep us all docile, and then like feed us our gray protein cubes, and
Uh,
turn on TV and maybe um, put something here in our brain, the Neuralink from Elon, you know, and that way we can escape into our own reality, and it automatically triggers dopamine. So we don't
right.
have to worry about any of this.
But also then what's existence? Like what's the point of it?
I'm being sarcastic. I mean, I'd be worried. I don't want to live that way. I'm just saying
I mean,
I don't know.
you're being sarcastic, but it also does like the half the plot of Wally, like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I
It's
mean,
a
I,
yeah.
I I don't remember who I've heard say this, but like somebody said about these like the tech bros. They're like all these tech bros watch like dystopian futuristic sci-fi films, and they thought it was like a manual for like a better tomorrow. They didn't think it was like a cautionary tale.
Yeah, they think they can fix it. No, I
Yeah.
don't know. I think that's the thing I'm thinking about is, yeah, I think if we are unable to do policy changes today
Hmm.
to support humanity, how is privatizing these technologies going to do that for us?
It's
It's not. We're getting sold that, right? And um, we have incremental positive progress. When I
yeah.
say incremental, I think it's the chance to work remotely, through high speed internet.
Yeah.
In the case of something like Starlink, like you can now have internet even in the most rural areas. That's high
Hmm.
speed. And these are really big achievements in technology that help humanity out because it also offers potential job opportunities or other means of learning or staying connected or whatever in these
Hmm.
communities. But if we're unable to actually make policy changes on the government level, and I know there's going to be pushback on like, oh, things just take too long. It's the
Yeah.
government, decisions take too long. And like, my pushback is it doesn't take too long. Look at lobbying. You put, $100,000, $200,000 in someone's pocket to win their bid. Things get moving pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Um, it's if there's no money behind it, things move pretty slow.
Yeah.
Um, and again, is that a policy issue in our government? Yeah, we could talk about like, government structure and lobbying and how, you know,
Yeah.
that's become such an issue in our country because you're just buying votes. Um, but how do we change that for beneficial society, um, or something that's going to benefit more people
Yeah.
and not just a group of people
Well,
necessarily?
yeah.
I don't know. It's really interesting to think about these things because it's a more
Hmm.
morality thing. It's a philosophical
Yeah.
discussion around this technology, AI, specifically in this case, what we're talking about, the robot, um, by 1X. What's the name of the robot?
Neo
Neo.
from the Matrix, which is also insulting.
Is it
Red
named
pill,
after? Did they say
red
it's named
pills
after?
coming. I don't know if it is from the Matrix, if it's named after the Matrix, but that's the one that came to mind. Red pill has been ruined because that's from the Matrix, and now Neo's going to be ruined.
Yeah, that sucks.
I love the
But
Matrix too.
yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of the sequels, but I love the first one.
first one's great. Yeah, I need to rewatch those. Um,
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. It's really interesting because once you start thinking of, oh, what's beyond the technology? What does that look like?
Hmm.
What's implications? In your case, you went all the way to uh, area of thought that I had never thought of.
Yeah.
Um, definitely thought of outsourcing, but also those are, another country's economical expectations to me is obviously work with good humane companies in a different country, but
Mm,
the pay from
yeah.
here to theirs can just based on cost of living and expectations.
Mm,
I don't know. It's just different,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
But
I would agree with I would agree cost of living, I guess, within that area. But I also think we don't match the proper cost of living because we have certain expectations. Like I think Americans have certain expectations that once it goes to over the seas, that not only should it be cheap, but they should be living in poverty for doing that cheap stuff. Um, almost as a penance, because like that's like, oh, it's not going to be for us. Okay, well, you do it, but you're going to have to be in the lower class to do it. It's going to be
yeah,
even cheaper. Um, that might just be me and being very cynical about it. Yeah, on policies, I, it is taking a long time, but I mean, the government is already just like, just basic government stuff is broken at this point, and so we also have to contend with accelerationism kind of taking root in society and in government, which is like accelerationism is the idea that capitalism in society is inevitably going to collapse, so might as well speed it up. I think that's not only it's only here, but it's also kind of spread into certain people in the government. I don't know if that's true, and I think tech people think that's kind of the case as well. Um, I don't know. I think Peter Thiel thinks that's the case. That guy's insane. Um,
Peter Thiel is an interesting case. Um,
mhm,
by I've seen a few takes on where he's at, what people think, what he's doing. He
mhm.
just did a whole lecture on like the
Anti,
Antichrist or
yeah,
something, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
He's,
he has a lot of fear, and my understanding is losing his wealth or something. Um,
I think he's a lot of fear of losing everything. I think he's a lot of fear of losing his health, his youth, and his wealth,
yeah,
and possibly fame and status. I'm assuming. I'm almost sure of fame and status. Maybe not fame as much, but definitely status. I would say.
yeah. I can see that. I
Hmm.
mean, at the if you look at it, the the general influence from the quote unquote PayPal mafia in the past 10 years has been a lot. That
Yeah.
includes Steele, that includes Musk, and that includes I'd have to bring up the list. I forget the names of everybody.
Yeah. 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 No.
Um
I.
and yeah, there's a lot of influence there because they've also I don't know if you saw this, they just made a deal with OpenAI with ChatGPT to be the first financial integration for payments in their new integration. So essentially you can chat and say, "Hey, I need new tennis shoes," and ChatGPT will bring up a visual prompt of like, "Hey, I found this on Amazon or I found this in this
Mm,
thing. Click here to pay," and it goes to you'd have to sign up for PayPal to pay for it or something. I don't know. I don't know how the integration is, but PayPal became the first integration for payments with them,
mm.
which is huge. You know, it's a big, big win for PayPal. How do they win that? Is just look at the influences. You know, they've been everywhere. Um, PayPal is the
It's-
first digital currency. It was
yeah.
before crypto. They were trying to make crypto before crypto. They also just did a test run. I forget on which chain, but they made 1 billion tokens, and it was pretty quick.
Hmm.
They're doing something over there where they tested something. It could be connected to the OpenAI,
Hmm.
where they made 1 billion tokens in this chain and then burned them all within like an hour or something, and no one knows why. It was a
Hmm.
very interesting. Someone caught that on the chain.
Yeah.
So PayPal's making moves still, and I didn't know they were still associated with PayPal. I would just, I
I
guess
didn't
they are.
think that. I didn't think Mustard Teal or any of them. I thought they all sold their shares or whatever. I don't know.
Same. I thought so too, but I don't know. It's a really, really interesting observation.
Hmm.
And there's a paper I found online. I don't know if it's still up around how they've, yeah, connected themselves with the current administration and all that stuff. I'm not going to get into it because I don't know for sure what's going on, but
Yeah.
um, yeah,
I.
it's a really interesting perspective. Um,
Yeah.
just seeing everybody
I.
kind of show up. It feels like they've always been around tech, but all of a sudden they just show up in the past 5 years a lot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
yeah. I should look more into Peter Thiel. I only know just a little bit about him. The little I know about him and Musk and some of the other tech pros, and even some government people, my theory is there's a bunch of different factions doing different things. My theory is with the tech pro side is they're trying to accelerate and cause a crash to move humanity forward. I think they believe that outside pressures on people will cause people to rise to occasion to do certain things, which I think is true, but I also think it's much better for people to have leisure time to figure stuff out. But I think that's kind of what's happening. But that we can talk about that another time. I know we're getting towards the end here, but yeah, I don't know. It's all weird, and we live in weird times. I don't think anyone's gonna argue with that. I know I've heard other people say it. Everyone says it right now. It's just so weird right now.
It feels weird. Yeah, it feels bizarre. I
It
think
feels
also
incredibly
like
bizarre.
what's that?
I said it feels incredibly bizarre.
Yeah. I know you've been practicing meditation. Um,
Yeah.
I think it is really good to disconnect as well. And
Hmm.
it's again, I think it is a privileged stance on stuff, being able to do that,
Yeah.
but it's also okay to have that privilege, in my
Hmm.
opinion, because it also helps to regulate your
Yeah.
body, your immune system. So I would, if anybody's watching this, is delete your social media off your phone for like
Hmm.
a week. You don't have to do it forever unless you want to. Just take a few days off and just like read a book or do some research
Yeah.
or start meditation or start some healthy practice of some sort. Because I have to do that from time to time. Sometimes I get deregulated and I see
Yeah.
things in the world and I'm like, okay, I need to step back because it's disturbing,
Yeah.
It uh, helps me reconnect with reality as well. Because I think
Yeah.
also there's a lot of things that we don't have control over. We wish we did.
Hmm.
I do think there is something to what you said, what Teal thinks or some sort of um yeah, finding solutions in really hard times
Hmm.
and people stepping up to it. I think there is opportunity for people in society to step up in
Hmm.
different ways, and it is going to change how things run. It's one of I forget who said it. I don't know if it was in college or what, but essentially like be the change you want to be. It could have been a commercial. I don't know,
Oh. Oh
but
yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah. Be
but
the
it's
change you want to
true.
see. Yeah.
Be the change you want to see, and it's very much that. I personally am working through some things of like I want to go live in a certain area because I like it, but also part of me is like because I don't want to live in a certain area, even though I pretty sure I should stay.
Yeah.
Um, and being at least one person that can potentially help in a beneficial way in that area.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm capable of being that full change, but at least I can be there to be around to help.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
um yeah, I think it's really important to think that way. Um stay stay calm, stay regulated, disconnect when you
Hmm.
have to, touch grass. Um because it is strange times. I mean, we now potentially have robots in the house. Aside from a Roomba was like the OG. That thing's still doing its thing.
Yeah. Roomba was like a friend because it was like a pet. I think
It's a pet.
non
Yeah, it's just a little disc
non-threatening,
that did one thing. It just swept.
and you're
That's
able to
all it
project
did.
a person. Yeah, you're able to project personality onto it, and you're like, oh, that
Right.
guy's cool. But
Yeah. It's like, oh, cool.
this
He just
humanoid thing, I'm like, I don't know, man.
so touching on that real quick, the
Yeah.
humanoid form factor, I do not like. I think
Yeah. Yeah. Why is that?
that's really you can see how unstable it is in those videos.
Hmm.
So the idea of humans, I don't know the whole genetic um, reasoning why humans walk upright compared to like chimpanzees who
Hmm.
work primarily on all fours but still can walk
Yeah.
upright. My understanding is because we are capable of then reaching things or
Yeah. I
walking
think
longer distances or something.
I thought it
Um,
was like high grass or some shit like that. I have no idea.
yeah, Like we're not
So we can like,
faster than chimpanzees. Like they can outrun us. Like
mhm.
when it comes to like all the things like why we walk upright, I think there's still theories. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily like why we do it. Um so the form factor, I'm like, why haven't they adopted the dog form, the one you're talking about? Like the dog form factor has 4 legs, extremely stable and
Mhm.
agile, can run and jump, go upstairs efficiently, come downstairs efficiently. They have the, the mechanics inside of it to make sure it stays stable so you can try to kick it over and never will. Like just use that form factor and have like 2 little arms come out of it so it can do dishes. Like,
Yeah. Well, then
it's
you're
not a
just
human, like,
yeah.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
start getting into centaur territory. So,
It's just like half human, like say, hey, what's up?
hey.
And just like it's not even a centaur, it's like a centipede, half human.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that would be scary. I wasn't thinking half human anything. I was just thinking like
Oh
robot.
yeah, yeah. Oh no. No, I
But
think that makes sense. That makes sense to me.
but that would be really funny if someone makes a centaur.
Yeah.
uh but I don't know. Yeah, I don't like the humanoid form factor. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have that in my house. Like I would get freaked out. There'd be moments I'd be like working and all of a sudden I just see a shadow in the corner like behind me and it'd be like this robot just like waiting for its next command. And I'm like,
Yeah.
ugh, like nope. If it was a robot dog, I don't think I'd be that scared. So
I'm just waiting for a third party company to do custom skins for it so that way and then somebody's gonna end up having sex with it. That's what's gonna happen.
mm,
That's immediately what's gonna happen within like 3 months of its release.
I would give it sooner than that. That
Someone's already working on it right now.
anybody who saw that, that was probably their second thought was this is
Yeah.
really interesting, kind of cool. Yeah, someone's gonna do something terrible to this thing. Like it's
Oh yeah. I
yeah.
immediately thought that.
There's
Yeah.
already on Instagram, someone made like, hey, I ordered upgrades and it was a female form factor for it. And I was
Ugh.
like, like it's yeah, yeah. It's gonna get real weird.
Gonna get real weird, bud. Talk
Dude,
about
oh,
we can talk about
oh.
this next episode. We've not talked about but like AI relationships. That's a huge thing. Those are subreddits, and they're talking about AI rights. So imagine an AI relationship with that body. Somebody probably in those subreddits is just being like, I'm gonna marry that robot. I'm gonna marry my AI boyfriend.
Someone's gonna do that. Hey, here's how I feel about that. None of my business. If they are happy,
Yeah,
be in love with that robot, I'm happy for them for real. Like it's I
yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah,
I
yeah,
have no opinion about that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's the idea of humanity and knowing that this robot is going to be yeah,
Traumatized.
that was trauma. Someone's going to make a skin for it and do something. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's gonna be weird. That's the weird
Super
part for
weird.
me.
It's gonna be super
Again,
weird.
each their own. It's not my business what they do. It's a robot. It's a machine. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
but um, yeah, I don't know. That's just such a weird thing to think about. It does makes me. But
Some guy with a headset 50 miles away is crying. Um, he's not even moving anything. He's just standing there. Tears are just coming out of the mask.
it just be like, they just get like the notification on their system, like bing, like so and so's household needs a new has an unknown request, and everyone just knows that name of that household, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh no.
no.
Oh no.
The Oculus.
Oh god.
Uh, it's like a yeah. Someone needs to make a new OnlyFans specifically for
No,
robots.
no, no, no,
I
no,
know.
no, no.
Oh man, that's that took a weird turn. So-
Yeah. Well, we can close out on that. I think it's proper to do that.
yeah. At least we
Thanks.
can laugh about that stuff. Man, the other stuff was
Yeah, for now.
heavy. Um,
but
yeah, you're right.
but yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Tim, did you have anything you wanted to plug or talk about? I got nothing going on. Just sitting around.
Nothing to plug right now. I guess when it comes to yeah, I'll plug something soon. Yeah, I'm working on some things with AI and um AGI
Mm-hmm.
solutions. So I think I mentioned that last episode. I can't remember, but yeah, I'll plug something soon. Um, but yeah, otherwise, it was a good episode. It was a lot of good moral
Yeah.
conversation. It was eye opening for me. So I appreciate your thought
Mm-hmm.
process on it because as I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it at more of the tech side,
Yeah.
how the solution is actually being made, how complex it is. It's a really tough solution to have. Like kudos to the team to actually do that and make that a reality. Um, even though it's still not fully autonomous.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just really tough. Really, really tough.
Yeah.
But your non-technical, more yeah, moral compass driven
I'm just skeptical.
thoughts.
I'm just really skeptical about things.
I don't know if it's skepticism. I think it's more uh yeah, it's definitely rooted in real life scenarios,
Yeah, yeah,
real
yeah, I
life
guess.
situations that are still currently happening. And
Mm-hmm.
it makes a lot more sense, to be honest. I mean, if we go watch back on this episode, like it's now, if the thought process caught me off guard because I was like,
Yeah.
I was ready to talk about the tech on it, or at least start,
Yeah.
understanding, assuming the tech on it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. This is totally different. And like the
There'd
moral
be
stance
done.
on it and like how far you went is like, yeah. So kudos. I appreciate that.
No,
It's a good
yeah.
wake up call, to think about this stuff too.
Well, well,
Uh,
thanks. Yeah, thanks for listening, I guess, on that. But it's- hopefully it won't be as heavy. I don't know. I think I'm pretty heavy on AI. You're working with it, and I was really into it a couple of years ago, but lately I've just been like, I don't know. I understand it's coming, and I want to learn about it, but I'm also just like, I don't know, stuck on like, and like I said, I'm meditating every day now, and it's like, and I'm reading about Buddhism, and I'm just like thinking about like humanity and stuff like that, and so I'm kind of like trying not to engage with it as much as I can, but I still do a little bit for work and stuff. So it's I don't know. I'm on the other side of it. I'm like the
yeah.
Luddite turning over the thieving machines.
The what?
The Luddites, they're like they're people who are like against technology, and I think they came about during the Industrial Revolution when machines started replacing manual labor, people like skilled labor of like weaving and stuff like that, and like making blankets or whatever or cloth. And so like these machines came about, and so Luddites would like go in these factories and like flip them over or burn them or whatever. I don't
Uh,
remember. I may be missing a few details. So, apologies, but I think that something like that.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It
So,
does. Yeah. I
yeah,
think I think there's going to be not an uproar. I think there's going to be a
hmm
lot of the jobs that they're potentially going to take in the near future are union jobs too.
yeah,
And unions have a lot more say. They have a
yeah,
lot more weight in the conversation with some of these jobs and industries and um I think it's gonna be interesting. I'm sure they're having those conversations now.
Yeah.
Um, I'm pretty sure I remember reading something about one of I'm trying to remember what industry, but yeah, they started having those conversations already of
Uh-huh.
like what does that look like? Um, because yeah, if there's no workers in a union, there's no union, you know? So
Every capitalist dream. Every company owner's dream.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
um,
like representation's gone finally. But
yeah,
no, yeah, it's really interesting. It's the whole goes back to the whole pot for me, it's policy, policy, policy.
yeah,
Um, but also, who's making those policies. I don't know. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's difficult to really think
hmm
about.
yeah,
But good show.
yeah. If you're still here, and you like this, please hit like and subscribe. I think there's a notification bell. I've never used it. I've heard it's good for algorithm things.
Make a
So
comment. I heard comments are really
leave a
popular now
comment,
to help with algorithm stuff. I don't know.
ask a question, I guess. We'll try our best to answer it, or leave, just leave a comment, and maybe, and we'll respond, and try to keep an eye out for those. Um, and then we'll have another one next week, and hopefully the week after that. I think we're planning to do this through Christmas, but I don't know. I think we're still working on it since it's so new and figure out what our schedule looks like. But at least through November, and then probably early December. So, and then we'll start over again in the year. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. But anyways, yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time. And it's been Hello Roboto.
See ya.